All the glory be to God. We give all praise and honor to Christ our Lord, Yeshua HaMashiach, who is truly the author and the finisher of my faith. I come by faith through the Spirit and the power of his love and the power of his might. I want to talk to you about something that will really help you as you continue in your faith, and that is humble yourself. I wish you can repeat that to yourself right now. Humble myself. James, the brother of Jesus, wrote these words in chapter 4, verse 6, but he giveth more grace. Wherefore he say, God resist the proud, but he give grace unto the humble. You know what grace is. Jesus Christ came with truth and grace and mercy. And grace is where sin abound, grace even more. Grace is when we have that unmerited favor of God when we just don't deserve it. We deserve eternal damnation, and we deserve everlasting damnation, but because of grace and his mercy. And I want to thank him for his grace and mercy. And if we need anything more, we need more grace. But what he's saying here to us, God resists the proud. That means he fights the proud. Pride is those who don't depend on God, who have not humbled themselves under the mighty hand of God. Pride is people who think that everything revolves around them. It comes from Satan. The spirit of pride was in him. And pride will make you exalt yourself. Pride will make you think of yourself as more than what you really are. And you will not depend on God. And if you're going to be humble, you're going to have to come down. You're going to have to humble yourself to where you depend on God. You're going to have to say to God, I need you. And that's nothing I can do without you. I've tried to do this on my own, but I need you. And that's being humble. Jesus said it in the book of Matthew. He said, whoever humble himself shall be abased, will be exalted. But he that exalt himself shall be abased. That means you will come down. It's like Humpty Dumpty sit on the wall, had a great fall. You are coming down. God resists the proud. And it brings me to a point where when I think about pride, I think about this general by the name of Naaman. He was a commander in an army, and he was a good man. He helped defeated the enemies of Israel. But Naaman ended up with a disease called leprosy. And Naaman needed healing. But Naaman, being a man of great stature, a man that was always looked up to and upon, he struggled with the pride. He struggled with being proud. You have to be careful how you carry yourself. You have to be careful not let things make you become something that you're really not. Because if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't have nothing and you wouldn't be nothing. But Naaman had this disease, and this disease was very contagious and it was very dangerous. You wouldn't even expect to live. You was expected right away. To make this short, Naaman ended up where he was told that there was a man of God in Israel that can heal him of his leprosy. And Naaman got on his horse and he got on his chariot and he brought men and servants with him. And he went to this man, and this man's name was Elijah. Elijah had already requested that bring him to me. And when he came to Elijah's house to be healed of his leprosy, Elijah did not even go out there to him. Elijah sent his servant out to him and told his servant what to do and gave him instructions on what to do. He told him to go dip 7 times in the river of Jordan. And Naaman got angry because Naaman said, why he didn't come out here to talk to me? This is pride. This is pride lifted up. This is his ego. He's more concerned about why he didn't come and see me, why he didn't come out here and strike his hands on me, why he couldn't tell me what to do. And Naaman was angry and he walked away because of his pride. Now I want you to think about this. This man dying. This man is dying. He has a disease that is uncurable. He needs a miracle from God. He needed a touch from God. And God has sent him to the right place. God has sent him to the right person. But now because he didn't hear what he wanted to hear, he's lifted up in pride and he's angry and he began to walk away. But his servant told him, said, if he asked you to do something great, you wouldn't have done it. So he asked you to go dip in the Jordan, this dirty, nasty river. You're dirty and nasty yourself. And Naaman thought about it. And Naaman humbled himself. See, when you start looking at yourself and find out you ain't all what you think you are, you need God. And my brothers and sisters, it's going to come to a time where you really, really going to need God. And you're going to have to humble yourself. You may get a report from the doctor, you got to humble yourself. You may hear something tragic that happened and you going to have to humble yourself. Because God resists the proud. He fights against the proud. What I really want you to see is Naaman could have missed his blessing. Naaman could have missed his miracle because he didn't humble himself. But what I like about Naaman, Naaman did what a lot of us should do. And that's humble down. Humble yourself. I'm going to say it like this. Lay your pride to the side before it lays you to the side. Some of us think we too good to do certain things. We think it's beneath us. We think we're more than and we're better than. And this is what happened to Naaman. Naaman liked to miss his blessing thinking about himself, thinking about his ego and his pride. But thank God Naaman realized that humble yourself. Now look at the grace. Look at the power of God when he dipped into that river. And when he came out, all the leprosy was gone. So my brothers and sisters, if you get anything out of the word today, get this. Humble yourself. God ain't going to humble you. You're going to have to humble yourself. God got a way of bringing us down, but you still are going to have to humble yourself. See, when you get lifted up in pride, there's a great fall. There's a great fall. And a lot of people can't handle it. It reminds me of a story I remember when I had to get food stamps. And I had to stand in the line with 2 children in my arms. And that was a time where we had to stand and wait in line to get our food stamps. And I was unemployed. It was during the real tough times in the 80s. And I stood in that line. But my pride was trying to tell me to get out of that line. But I needed them food stamps. I humbled myself and I stayed in that line. And when they gave me them $900 worth of food stamps, we ate, barbecued, and we steaked, and we had a good time. I'm glad I swallowed my pride. And that's what I'm saying to you today. You may not be driving the kind of car you want to, but don't let your pride stop you. You may have to catch the bus. Don't let your pride get in the way. You're going to have to do some things that are so humiliating, but don't let pride get in the way. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, and he will exalt you in due season. Brothers and sisters, I hope you've been blessed by the word today. I want you to continue to walk with God, continue to humble yourself, and watch how God raise you up in the midst of your enemies and those who really hate you. May God keep you and sanctify you is always my prayer.